It's something we've been talking about throughout the entire edition of the Sports Cubicle here on WCPT 820 AM with the marvelous one, Dan Marver, Devin Tingle, Paul Chivari, myself, Mike Mercado. But Patrick Beverley has made his return, has made his way home to the Chicago Bulls. This comes to us again from The Athletic over by Darnell Mayberry. Make sure you guys check out The Athletic. They do an amazing job. If you're a sports fan, it's one of the must-reads, must-haves if you need news and stories and whatnot. But Patrick Beverley finally lands with the Bulls. Quote, I get a chance to come home. Zach LaVine revealed he has recruited Patrick Beverley for at least the last couple of seasons. Quote, he's just somebody you hate to play against, LaVine said Wednesday. Quote, but love as a teammate. In his 11th season, the Chicago native is finally with the Bulls. It's a destination Beverley desired long before being waived by Orlando and joining the Bulls via the post-trade deadline buyout market. Quote, I get a chance to come home and represent the city in a fashion that later on in my career I can do. He said, the players, me, DeMar, me, and Zach, were really good friends. Contract years I've been trying to get here for the longest. I'm fortunate it worked out this way. And you can check out the entire article over at The Athletic by Darnell Mayberry. Patrick Beverley finally lands with the Bulls. And, you know, it's something that I get a lot of flack for, that I'm not excited about the move, that, you know, it's just more indifferent. It's not anything against Patrick Beverley. I think Patrick Beverley is actually a really nice fit for the Bulls. I think Patrick Beverley would have been a nice fit for a lot of teams who are trying to get over the hump or looking for that extra piece. What I don't understand is, what does Patrick Beverley do for you in the long term to get to a championship? Probably nothing, right? He probably ends up in the starting lineup. We'll find out. Their first game is on Friday night. So by the time you hear this, we will find out what the rotation looks like, what the lineup looks like. But I think we're going to have time to talk about all the critiques. We kind of did already, talking about the Lonzo issue and what it all meant. But the positives, I do think, more than anything, let's just talk positives when it comes to Patrick Beverley, a hometown kid coming home, because it is a cool story. The positives are, you're getting a pro, you're getting a dog, the kind of dude that, whether he was working at a bank in the NBA as a florist, as a carpenter, he'd give it 110%. He'd go all in. Everything will be the biggest job he's done. So that's great to have on your team, and it's great for that to be the representation both nationally and locally on your team. I think more than anything, he's going to keep people accountable. Now, what does that say about your franchise, your roster, whatever the mentality has been this season? That's its own thing. He instantly is going to help install a culture, keep people accountable, keep people hustling. And I think that's super important. I think that's something that this particular Bulls team, this group of players, has missed this particular season. And I think something else, and it's something we've brought up a bunch of times, is optics. You have to do good by players in this league. There's a new TV deal coming up, a new CBA coming up. You're going to have money. You want to be in a position to win championship number 7. You want to be a team that is in the running. You want to be a team that's respected, that's beloved. You just went to Paris. You saw how global your branding is. You should want to be one of the top teams. If that's the case, you need the players to come in and want to be that. You need to be a destination spot. And by bringing in Vucevic, by bringing in DeMar, by re-signing Zach, by bringing in Caruso, by having Patrick Beverley, having Andre Drummond and Dragic, you are putting yourself in the good graces of the NBA circles. And that's something this team has not had for a long time. They didn't have the trust of NBA players. They didn't have the want to be one of the teams that is trusted and beloved by players. They didn't want to play ball. And it looks like now they do. And if they take care of Lonzo and they do the right thing by Lonzo, and, you know, you hope Lonzo and his side are cooperative and they do their best and whatnot, it should be able to be a good maturation for all of them. And you should be able to come out of the other side of it. You got to take advantage of it. You got to develop it. You got to nurture it. But Patrick Beverley, in the big scheme of it, just makes your team more of a, and for lack of a better word, a cool team. Can we get these guys that are the respected dudes around the league to play for us? Can we put ourselves in that position? Because guess what? You don't land unless you draft them, right? Unless you draft your future star, you have to recruit and you have to be a cool place. You have to have the right facilities. You have to have the right city, the right spokesperson, the right coach. The Bulls, little by little, I think Billy Donovan's a great coach. Good coach, okay? Just be conservative, a good coach. But a respected coach. And if Mark Eversley and AK are able to build and do right by contracts, and if Jerry gets out of the way and Michael Reinsdorf is a owner that is willing to listen, to add some input, but to let the people he entrusted in those positions do their job, a move like Patrick Beverley puts you in a better position in the long term for the optics, for just the opportunity to maybe one day be in a position to get one of these top 5 stars that is disgruntled, and you make Chicago home. And doing something like this is a great way to start. How he helps your roster, we can go into that. We'll get into that the next 20 games. And there's going to be some awesome moments, some frustrating moments. And we don't know if it leads to the 6th pick in the NBA draft or a one and done in the play-in. But I do know when it comes to integrity, when it comes to hustle, when it comes to all the attributes and the IQ, Patrick Beverley is going to bring it every single game. And maybe by proxy, everybody else will. And they'll go on a run. But they've lost 6 straight. So they need to answer something because they didn't do it during the trade deadline. And, Russell Westbrook being their first option really was a head scratcher. At least this one, he answers some things you might need. The team really needs some 3-point shooting and some defense and some hustle, but can't get it all in one offseason, I guess, right? But I think it's a great thing for Patrick Beverley. I think it's an awesome story. I think he's going to do some nice stuff for the Chicago Bulls. But other than looking at the big picture stuff, the optics, what you might be able to do in the future if you put yourself in the right position, for the short term, we'll see how it plays out. I hope for the best for him. I hope for the best for the fans and for the organization. But other than the long term that you could do good with, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fascinating. But we want to know your thoughts. First of all, what did you guys think about Russell Westbrook being one of the top targets for this front office and Patrick Beverley being the one that they signed? Let us know your thoughts. We're on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. It's the marvelous one, Dan Marver. It's Devin Tingle. It's Paul Chivari. I'm Mike Mercado.